So, I did a video a few days ago on Jamal Hill calling out Jiri Prochazka, wanting to give the fans what they want. Yuri responded. Yuri shuts down the idea of rematching Jamal Hill. Or sorry, he shuts down the idea of fighting Jamal Hill in his next fight because he wants to fight for the title. He's campaigning for the title shot. He said him and his management, that's what they're working on. He says he's very confident that he's going to get the next title shot. And he said he'd be willing to take the fight in Brazil. And honestly, I mean, I don't want to see Yuri Pereira 2 right away, just because I'd rather kind of have Yuri sort of build his way back as a contender instead of just rushing right back in there with Alex, especially like on 3 weeks. I mean, if he had like maybe a few months to prepare for Pereira, I'd feel a lot better about that because there'd be a lot of time to strategize and work on adjustments to win a rematch. But rushing back in 3 weeks, I don't think that'll be beneficial for, it'll be tough for both guys, but it'll be worse for Jiri Prochazka, who came off the losing end of the first fight. So me personally, I don't really think that's a good idea for Yuri. I mean, I'm not picking him in a rematch either way. I learned my lesson from the first fight. But this could be for the good of UFC 301. This may be what needs to happen because Ankalaev won't be willing to fight in Brazil. Ankalaev says he wants Poatan in Abu Dhabi, not Brazil. So he's not going to fight him in 3 weeks. And Yuri is a true BMF. So he's willing to step up to the plate and, save UFC 301 because UFC 301 it's terrible. I mean, Pantoja versus Steve Erceg, who has only 3 fights in the UFC, 2 fights in the UFC, ranked number 10, not pay-per-view, headliner worthy. I mean, all those on the card, that's like its only saving grace. But I feel like what it really needs is one more big fight. And I feel like Pereira headlining, which was the original idea, it'd be ideal. So if the UFC can, I think they should just do their best to get Prochazka versus Pereira 2 to headline UFC 301. So that way we actually have a good main event to look forward to after we just had UFC 300. I mean, obviously with Pereira being on 301, it won't make the card as a whole better, but just that alone being a main event will just give fans something to look forward to. I already said, I think Pereira will win again if they do fight, especially if it's on 3 weeks' notice. I don't like that for Yuri. I like his chances better if he has more time to game plan, prepare, and adjust, rather than just rush back in there. Either way, man, I think Poatan's going to win just because Yuri has shown nothing in his last fight to state that he would beat Pereira if they fought again. He was still showing the same defensive flaws against Rakic that he showed against Pereira when they first fought. He still keeps his hands down. He still gets hit a lot. And the only reason why I picked Yuri to beat Rakic, even though Rakic has better defense and maybe more technically sound, he doesn't have the power. He doesn't have the power off the back foot or the level of counter-striking that Pereira does to make a guy like Yuri pay for his reckless style. Rakic just isn't a Pereira to shut down a guy like Yuri, so I knew that Yuri was going to be able to do his thing, but against Poatan, that's just going to be a different story. But we'll see. I mean, last time out, Yuri looked way better than he did at UFC 295, physically. Because at UFC 295, he just looked flat. His muscle definition wasn't there. He looked smaller. He looked in way better shape this time around. He just looked better conditioned. And he looked better overall, performance-wise. So who knows? There's a chance he could win a rematch. I do think that if the fight wasn't stopped early last time, my prediction would have been right. My prediction last time was round 1 is a feeling out process. Close round. Round 2, Yuri gets hurt, wrestles his way into recovery, which he was trying to do, got hurt by elbows. But I said he would get hurt in round 2, recover, bounce back in round 3, and get a finish in the 3rd and 4th. Goddard screwed up my prediction, but that was his last chance to beat him. I don't see him beating Pereira now just because Pereira seems to be getting better every fight. And he's getting better with confidence. He's the champion. I think the first time him and Jiri fought, there was some nerves there, you know? He got knocked out by Izzy like one fight ago before beating Jan. Didn't have the greatest performance over Blachowicz. Jiri had that aura about him. He was on that win streak. But now Alex is the champ. He's defended the belt once. So I think he's just only going to get better from here, despite being like 37 years old. So we'll see. I'm definitely going to root for Jiri. I would hope Jiri would win. I just think his style is just too favorable for a guy like Alex Pereira, but we'll see. With that being said, like and subscribe, and peace out.